The sounds of shells filled the sky, and destruction surrounded everything. In the midst of this hell, Adam, a young man in his 20s, stood in the corner of his destroyed home, staring at a picture of his family, now just painful memories. The world around him was drowning in chaos, but deep inside, he knew he had to find peace, not just for himself, but for those around him. Peace was not just a dream he longed for during the long nights of war. It was something he decided to create. The next day, instead of joining the cycle of anger and revenge, he went to the relief center in the neighboring district. He decided to extend his hand to the wounded, to feed the hungry, and to help children who had lost their parents. He started with a small act, but soon realized that every step toward goodness was a seed planted in the soil of despair. As days passed, Adam became known among the townspeople as a young man who spread tranquility despite the devastation. He started gathering children to tell them stories of hope, teaching them that wars do not last forever and that kind hearts can build a better future. But he did not realize that his small step would change the course of his life entirely. One day, while helping a little girl who had lost her parents, an elderly man with harsh features approached him. He was a former leader in the conflict, a man who had known nothing but strife. Looking at Adam, he asked in a voice filled with doubt, "Why are you doing this? Isn't it easier to hate them as they hated us?" Adam smiled and replied, "Peace is not something we wish for. It is something we create with our own hands. It is a choice, just as war is a choice." The man stared at him for a long time without saying a word, but he returned the next day and helped Adam distribute food. Little by little, others began to join them. The place that was once filled with hatred turned into an oasis of hope, and people began to realize that peace was not just an idealistic notion, but something built through small daily actions. One day, after years of tireless work, Adam stood before a crowd. The city, once engulfed in war, was beginning to heal. In a calm yet strong voice, he said, "Peace is not just the absence of war. It is something we plant in our hearts, something we carry in our actions, and something we spread to those around us. Do not wait for it. Be the ones who create it." Silence filled the air for a moment. Then applause erupted. Adam had changed the course of events, not with weapons, but with words and deeds. He was not a superhero, just a young man who chose to be a light in the darkness of the world. Thus, war was no longer the only story. Another story had emerged. The story of a man who decided that peace was not just a dream but a reality to be made by your own hands.